Nintendo. Their games are widely beloved, but some of their decisions tend to be questionable or nonsensical, and this certainly is the case with their decision surrounding Super Mario 3D All-Stars, a game that was announced back in September 3rd, 2020, and released shortly thereafter on September 18th, 2020. And you can see right here that the triple pack will see each game optimized for Nintendo Switch. The trio will feature higher resolutions and smoother gameplay performance. It's basically a port of 3 old Mario games packaged into one product. You can see from the Metascore here that reception was generally positive, but people did complain that this felt like a very low-effort port. They didn't do enough to enhance the games that they brought onto Switch, whether it's, visual enhancements or whether it's quality of life additions and new features and whatever. People would have just loved for Nintendo to take that extra step to make this package that much more compelling, but we did get 3 really good Mario games in one package, so at least there's that, and we get to play it in portable format on Switch. But one caveat that the internet and people in general still cannot wrap their heads around is the time limit that Nintendo has imposed on this game. If you go to the official website of Super Mario 3D All-Stars, you can see right here, available for purchase through March 31st, 2021, while supplies last. This was something that was announced when this package was first announced. That was almost 6 months ago. And further detailing this is this listing on the Nintendo website that reads, the physical version of Super Mario 3D All-Stars, released September 18th, will continue to be shipped to retailers and available for purchase through March 31st, 2021, or while supplies last. The digital edition will be available through March 31st, 2021. Once the digital edition has been purchased on your Nintendo account, it can be re-downloaded and played if deleted from your device. So it is true that if you already bought the game, then you'll have it forever, but if you don't purchase this game by March 31st, 2021, your opportunity to get this package is gone forever, or until Nintendo changes their mind, which so far they've shown no signs of doing. And the reason this is all coming up again is because, well, 6 months have almost gone by. This is an article published on March 24th, 2021 that reads, "This is it, Nintendo kills Super Mario 3D All-Stars in 1 week." As of the publishing of this video, March 27th, the 31st is, 28, 29, 30, 31, just 4 days away. And there's literally no good reason to justify this decision, especially considering that this game has been performing incredibly well, selling more than 8 million copies in 2020, more specifically 8.32 million units as of February 8th, 2021, with that number probably being higher now. This game's selling, it's doing really well. And now they're gonna take it away on March 31st? The only reason I can see Nintendo doing this is to create that sense of FOMO so that people will rush to buy this game in the days leading up to that deadline, knowing that this product may never come back. And sure, we might see a spike in sales, but in the long term, this feels detrimental for both Nintendo and the customers. Mario games tend to sell consistently for a very long stretch of time, and so for them to limit Super Mario 3D All-Stars lifecycle to just 6 months, it feels like a disservice. Switch owners who haven't been able to buy this game, or future Switch owners who maybe are buying a Switch and buying games after March 31st, won't get a chance to buy this game, give Nintendo money, and play 3 really good games, and Nintendo's going to be missing out on all those sales throughout the course of years and years that Switch will still be active. I mean, this console isn't going away anytime soon. It's, still consistently the best-selling console every single month. The Switch Pro is set to come out by holiday of 2021. There is potential for this game's sales to rise above that much more. If this game were to stay on sale for Switch's entire lifespan, I have no doubt that these numbers could go significantly higher. So even from a business decision, this doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Not to mention all the negative PR that Nintendo is generating from all this. In fact, people recognizing that March 31st is just days away, have dubbed March 31st as the day Mario dies because Nintendo is removing Super Mario 3D All-Stars, Super Mario Bros. 35, and more from the eShop. And that's another product, Super Mario Bros. 35, which is this free-to-play Mario 2D platforming battle royale. That's actually really interesting. And while I don't know what the player base of that looks like, it's a really cool concept actually, and something that has resonated with a lot of people. That's going away too. As Eurogamer reported here on the September 3rd article, the game will run from October 1st, 2020 to March 31st, 2021. Now, after March 31st, there are going to be two ways that you can still get Mario 3D All-Stars. The first way would be to get a physical edition of the game, which exist and are out there, but are limited in supply. And the second way would be to get retail codes that will work even after March 31st. It's just that Nintendo isn't making additional retail codes. But those are also limited in supply. And what have we learned happens when a highly demanded product is very limited in supply, especially in the video games landscape? That's right, scalpers will swoop in, hoard as much of that supply as possible, and sell it back through gray markets like eBay at exorbitant prices. Currently, there isn't a market for Mario 3D All-Star scalping because supply is literally infinite. You can just download it digitally, buy it digitally. But with Nintendo limiting that supply, both physically and digitally, after March 31st, you can expect eBay to be populated with Mario 3D All-Stars listings. And Nintendo could prevent this if they just acted normally and sold Mario 3D All-Stars for all of Switch's life cycle. All of this also raises questions about game preservation. As a game gets older and older, and as the consoles that those games run on get older and older, they're going to be harder to find, they're going to be just harder to access in general, which is why it's always a good thing when companies think of ways to implement backwards compatibility and forward compatibility, which Xbox has been doing a great job at, but not so much with Nintendo, who have this huge catalog of virtual console titles, and their implementation of that has been so extremely poor. Virtual console purchases from past consoles don't carry over to Switch, and Switch currently cannot play a lot of these games from NES, SNES, N64, and GameCube era. There is like a virtual console element attached to their Switch Online subscription, but that's a very limited selection. And so to play games like Mario 64 and Mario Sunshine and Mario Galaxy on Switch on an official capacity, well, this package is the only way currently for these specific games. And now Nintendo's limiting that as well. This package featuring games that cannot be played on Switch through any other methodologies. Games that you would need to buy older consoles and older copies in order to access. This is why people turn to emulation, to jailbreaking, to piracy, because Nintendo isn't making it easy for people to access those older games on modern consoles. And so they're gonna resort to other methods that can yield even better results than Nintendo's own ports. You can straight up play better looking versions of these games on Mario 3D All-Stars on emulators. Now, people would buy Mario 3D All-Stars because it's the official way to play it on Switch, this portable console that allows you to take these games anywhere and very conveniently. And that's the selling point of games on Switch and of porting games over to Switch. But Nintendo's not fully leveraging that, and if anything, they're going out of their way. They're taking an extra step to do something that I think is harmful for their business, and that just isn't very consumer-friendly. Nintendo, in this scenario, all you have to do is nothing. Remove the limitations, remove the whole March 31st time limit, and just let this game be. Nintendo gets money from customers. Customers can continue to buy this game. It mitigates scalping situations. And it straight up helps game preservation, which Nintendo has been awful at. It's so ironic that Nintendo is so proactive about taking down emulation and ROM websites, but they're the ones who are encouraging this type of thing by being so restrictive in the way they sell their games. People are going to want to jailbreak their Switches or download Switch emulators and a ROM of Mario 3D All-Stars after March 31st because a lot of those people who maybe haven't bought a Switch yet or who haven't bought the game yet on an official capacity will no longer have access to buy this game after that date. And not to mention that Mario 3D All-Stars deadline isn't prominently advertised. And so plenty of people who don't follow game news, they're not going to have any clue about this, and they might end up getting locked out. It's going to be a lot of people, I think, a lot of potential customers who are going to get locked out of the simple process of buying this game that should be simple if Nintendo would just let it be. You want people to stay away from emulators and ROMs and buy your games officially? Then encourage them to do so by offering a better service, a better business model, a better way of doing things, or at least that's one man's take. I just cannot wrap my head around this Super Mario 3D All-Star situation. But let me know in the comments below if you have some inkling as to why Nintendo is doing this, if you think there's a good reason for this, because I cannot think of any, and just share your general thoughts in the comments below. And to be further updated on all things gaming news, reviews, and discussions, stay tuned right here on Young Yeah. I'll see you guys next time. Young out.